All right. Hey, this is Ken here with Christina, and we're going to talk about empowered parenting. And we're going to talk about attention today. So, I don't know about you, but you know, why is it that children's behavior can be so baffling and frustrating, right? It just doesn't make sense to us parents sometimes. And so we're going to offer you some effective strategies for understanding the purpose of children's behavior, for ways to take action so that you can feel powerful, instead of helpless to do anything about the behavior that you don't want to see in your children. So in the book, The Challenge, Rudolf Dreikers explained that the ultimate goal that children are trying to achieve is belonging and significance. Significance is this sense of feeling important, the opposite of feeling insignificant. And belonging is this desire to find your place in the family group. So Dreikers believed that every behavior, every action a child takes has a purpose and is useful to parents because it communicates a need. When children behave in a way that parents don't like or want, then parents typically describe or label that as misbehavior. But instead of frustrating, we can look at misbehavior as communicating to us that the child is either trying to obtain or escape something. So, for example, of what an escaping something looks like, years ago, one of my daughters would pretend that she couldn't reach the cupboard to put away the bowls from the dishwasher. She couldn't do simple multiplication or wipe the jam off the countertop. All of those were attempts to escape something she didn't want to do. So, Dreiker suggests that if the behavior the child is choosing fails to achieve their goal of belonging and significance, of course, then they might reconsider things and choose another course of action. One of the behaviors that parents often describe as misbehavior is needing too much attention, often at inappropriate times. So it can be so annoying when your child just won't stop with wanting to show you things or wanting you to help with something. There are times when it feels like you can't even get a moment's peace to plan your day or talk to another adult. So wanting too much attention is one of the most common behaviors that drives parents crazy. The belief that children have behind that behavior is, I belong only when I'm noticed or getting special service. I'm important only when I'm keeping you busy with me. So let's say you're a typical parent and you're on a phone call and your child interrupts you. You react by reminding your child not to interrupt. Your child stops temporarily, but then interrupts again a few minutes later. So, sound familiar? Maybe that kind of thing only happens to you when you're going to the bathroom. So, as parents with an understanding of the purpose behind our children seeking too much attention, because again, they're trying to feel important and like they belong, what seems like senseless behavior now begins to make sense. So if the child has this belief that I belong only when I'm being noticed, that I'm important only when I'm keeping you busy with me, what do you think happens when you tell a child with this belief to go away? What do you think they decide about themselves? Maybe they're deciding, I must not be important, or I don't belong here. So in empowered parenting, Christina and I are trying to help parents like you realize that they have powerful options in helping children learn how to achieve their goal in a more positive way. Of course, it's natural that children want your attention to show what they accomplish. Look at this. Or when they need a playmate, you've seen your child do super cute things to get attention, like when they make a silly face or do one of their funny quirks, that makes you laugh. And you probably don't consider those approaches to getting attention to be misbehavior. But things go too far, when their requests seem constant or the timing of the demands to, look, mom, is at odds with, cooking, the bathroom, meeting, or a phone call. So Christina has a story about what students do to seek attention in the classroom.
Yeah, I see it a lot in the classrooms. Students who, even though they're very capable to do the work, they, are constantly seeking their teacher for help and sometimes causing mischief in the classroom to get more attention, even though that attention might be, negative, it might be more corrective. For them, it's better than no attention at all. So they're really just getting into mischief and maybe distracting other students in order to get the attention. And the teacher just feels exhausted with having to constantly redirect them.
Yeah, boy, I've seen this happen in this classroom too. So on the few times that I've visited. So one of the things that Dreiker said was that if taking a charming approach to getting attention fails, a child will switch to more disturbing mechanisms. And that's kind of like what Christina was just talking about. So after all, what is a tantrum but a more extreme or disturbing method of getting attention? As the saying goes, just like Christina was describing, negative attention is better than no attention at all. So, but what are you to do as a parent if a child is seeking too much attention? One of the most effective ways is arranging to spend special one-on-one time with them. Christina, do you want to talk a little bit about how that's worked for you?
Yes, I love special one-on-one time, and it can be challenging for some parents when they have several kids, like myself, a single mom of four. At first, I thought, how was I ever going to make enough time to spend, 10 minutes a day with each child? But I realized that the more time I spent in special time, the less time I was having to redirect those attention seeking behaviors. So it was definitely a good trade-off. So you just making sure that you schedule that special one-on-one time and doing something together that your child enjoys and making sure it's free of any, lectures or teaching of any sort at that time, but just spending quality time doing something that your child enjoys.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I definitely understand the challenge with that as well, just trying to find the time to do that, but it does pay off. And I think one of the other approaches, right, is, uh, when they are in a good mood, when they are being cooperative and helpful, we can spend a little bit more time with them in those moments and, give them a little bit of extra attention that acknowledges, the value that we see when they're behaving that way. So, uh, and then another idea that we've picked up along the way in parenting is, redirecting them or involving them in something useful. So, maybe there's some, funish chore or something to do around the house, and you can ask them to help, right? And then when you're done, you can recognize or acknowledge their accomplishment, maybe give them a high five and celebrate their contribution, and they get some recognition of that and some attention from that, but in a positive way that you're looking for as a parent. So
Right.
I think one of the other ideas that we've encountered as well is this about reassuring them and saying what you will do, right? So if you're on a phone call and they're interrupting, right, you might say, I love you, I care about you, to reassure them. And I'll look at what you want to show me at 1:45 or 20 minutes from now, depending on their age and how well they can understand time. So so I think those are some other great ideas that you can try out and see how they might work for you in dealing with children who want a little bit too much attention. So uh, in Dreiker's way of saying it was, when we yield to their undue demands for attention, we reinforce their self-concept that they have, that they're only important when they have our attention. And it increases their conviction, right, that this method for getting attention will serve to get me this sense of belonging in the future, right? And that's the part that we want to see if we can take on right now and remedy. So since every action a child takes has a purpose, and if a child is vying for too much attention at inappropriate times, then with an understanding of the purpose behind the child's behavior, rather than labeling it as misbehavior, we can see their behavior as communicating to us. We can see that, you know, what they're trying to achieve is a feeling of belonging and significance. We can then choose as parents to help them achieve their goal in a more positive way with behavior that we want to see. So, any closing thoughts from you, Christina?
No, I think that you've said it all. Just, you know, like you said, instead of seeing, you know, feeling how frustrated you are with some of this behavior, seeing that this their way of communicating a need. So the more that we can give them that positive attention up front when they are behaving, then the less that they will have to act out to get that attention in negative seeking ways. Yeah.
Yeah, and that
Yeah.
reminds me of the times that I think it just helps so much to have this understanding of their behavior instead of thinking they're somehow doing it on purpose to just get at me or get under my skin, right? That they're just trying to get what they are after. And it's really has so much more to do with them than it does to do with me. And I think that's really helpful.
Yeah, and I think it's good to know that some kids just need more attention than others. Because I hear a lot of time parents will be like, well, my or my older child never done that, or teachers in the classroom, well, you know, the rest of the kids don't need that much attention. Why do they need so much attention? But just like anything when it comes to kids, everyone is different, and some kids just need more. And some kids, you know, like I have parents that are like, you know, it doesn't matter how much attention I give her, it feels like they always need more. So just making sure that that attention you're giving is just, you know, quality time too. I think sometimes parents think that they're spending so much of time with their child, but it's not that real connected quality time. And so that's important to keep in mind too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All righty. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And if anyone has questions after you've watched this video, if you want to go ahead and, you know, just type away and ask questions, and we'll make sure to check in and answer them.
All right, thanks. Well, until
All right.
next week, we'll see you then. Good luck.
Bye-bye.